What? No pudding?
Welcome to the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. Well, welcome back. It is a spooky October Halloween episode of the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. Ooh.
Have we done like a Halloween special before?
No, every single time that October comes around, we record it, and I go, fuck! We could have made a spooky one.
The first one was The Hitcher, which I think was kind of along those lines.
But then the second movie was RRR, and I guess like British imperialism is pretty scary, but not as scary as.
Then what did we do last October? Was that the Stand and Stand one?
It might have been.
Okay, well, I mean, Star Wars. That was a horror show.
Yeah, it kind of was.
So I think we've done pseudo horror Halloween specials so far, but this is the first time I think we're just going to talk about a horror movie.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
beginning to end.
Yeah, which is awesome because I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But we've talked about horror movies before, but never in the appropriate season.
Yes.
And I think the only other horror. What did we watch? We watched Apollo 18, which is horrifying for different purposes.
Yeah.
Jeez, what other horror movies have you watched? Am I just blanking?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Maybe we haven't.
But you know what? I'm glad I chose this one to start.
Yeah, this is quite the intro.
Yeah, it really is. So, this is one of those movies that's always been on my list to watch that I've always heard you talk about, but I've never actually went out to look for it.
Yeah,
so,
I'm kind of trying to think, like, when did I even hear about Braindead? It probably was whenever, I don't know, I was just kind of starting to look through movies online and, like, looking into horror and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, the director of Lord of the Rings did this incredibly insane fucking horror movie that's considered to be the bloodiest of all time. It's like, oh, I can't not seek that out. And I did.
And it's quite the, like, I recommending this movie, I was sort of like, I have this impression of Braindead, Dead Alive, whatever you want to call it, that everyone talks about it like, oh, this is the most fucked up, gory, disgusting horror movie in the world, and I'm like, maybe back then when I had first heard of it, I would think that, but I sort of went in a little bit like, well, I've seen a lot of horrible shit online since I've heard of this movie, and I was like, it's probably not going to hit quite as hard. Like, there's going to be some pretty gory stuff. I'm going to have to cover my eyes or something, but I was not entirely ready for what I was getting into, I guess. So, like, holy shit. Okay, I'm going to say this right off the bat. This is probably the best showcase of practical special effects I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Like, it is not even close. Like, I don't even know how they did some of this stuff or made it look so disgusting. Like, Evil Dead 2 levels of, like, oh my god, there's, like, so much gore.
I think it's beyond Evil Dead 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I went back and I was like, in my mind, like, that's, like, the biggest movie of, like, yeah, Evil Dead 2 was really fucking gory and had tons of blood in it. Yeah. But going back, it's, like, it's not even close. It's not even close. The
only movie that might come close to this one in terms of gore is the French movie Martyrs. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, I've heard of Martyrs, but I've never seen it.
But even then, like, I think just in terms of, like, how much of, like, the practical effects they use, Dead Alive is probably, much, they use a lot more.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, like, I sort of went into this based off of your recommendation that you gave me a long time ago, and
probably several times.
Yeah, several times, and now I'm finally getting around to it. So yeah, like, you say that you found out about this movie just through, like, general, like, looking online into, like, filmmakers and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember this. It's one of those things where like you go to the video store so often and you look at all of the different covers and stuff. And I always remember this movie with this cover of the lady holding her mouth open with a skull inside of it. And I was like, that looks weird. And I never thought of it again. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, God, I really should. I remember giving thought to it and then passing on it. And it's like, what a fucking crazy movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of those things where like this is a New Zealand based film.
Yeah.
It's I guess I don't know what the budget for this movie was. I can't
think it was
imagine.
about $3 million.
3 million. Yeah. So a pretty big budget.
Let me check on that, but I think that's right.
Yeah. And it's like I didn't know what I was expecting, and it sort of blew me away. I like to go into these things with like low expectations, but I sort of went into this thinking I was going to see like a horror classic or whatever, and it still surprised me. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it is 3 million was the budget.
Okay.
And fun fact too is that Peter Jackson actually decided to shoot this movie on 16 millimeter rather than 35 millimeter.
Okay.
And the reason he did that is because he wanted all of the budget to go towards the practical effects and stuff like that, which was the right call.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is too, I have a lot to say about this movie. There's a lot of factoids that I've looked up for this too. Is that they actually finished the film, I think, with like $45,000 left in the budget.
Oh my God.
And they used that to go and film the scene with the baby in the park. That wasn't even in the original production thing, but they're like, okay, we have a little bit of money, we'll just do this for a couple days. And they were filming for 2 days in the park, and that was it. And so God. Peter Jackson retrospectively has said that he thinks that's his favorite part of the movie.
I would kind of agree. It's such a well done scene.
Yeah. It is really funny.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big thing is I didn't really know the vibe going into this movie. I guess I should have known it was going to be comedic, considering old Peter Jackson's.
Didn't you see Meet the Feebles?
Oh, I saw Meet the Feebles.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. But like I also saw like The Frighteners and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know what side this was sort of going to be on, because as we know, Peter Jackson has this incredibly varied filmography, where like at the beginning it's these off the wall, crazy, violent comedies.
Yeah.
And then on the other side is these more quiet, much more introspective, like fantasy epics that he's best well known for. Yeah. And it's like, it's so strange because like the way that this movie is directed, it's like this is like all he wants to do with the rest of his life. You know, like it's like this is what he was born to do. Like make these insane, gross set pieces. Specifically, the mortuary scene. Yeah. With the body being filled with the embalming fluid and like bursting out of all of its orifices. Oh my God! Me and Avery watched this together, and Avery is not shied away from gore or anything, but there was times where we were just like, oh my God! Like just like yelling, screaming.
Yeah, and I've seen this movie upwards of like 10 times by now, probably.
Oh wow!
And like, even though I'm not as shocked by it now as I once was when I first saw it, it is still extremely entertaining from like the beginning to the very end. And it's actually interesting you bring up a lot of that about the directing, because I think that when you look at this movie, you can definitely see like certain techniques that were used in the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
Really?
Like the close-up shots whenever they're like on their faces, which is like that they did that a lot in Fellowship of the Ring. Like when they pulled Sam out into the garden and like Gandalf started chastising him.
Right, yeah.
It's like stuff like that I was like, oh, okay. If you know, you probably wouldn't make the connection unless you knew it was Peter Jackson behind both movies. But if you know that, you can actually see parts of it. And there's actually connections to the Lord of the Rings and other movies that are in this, both previous and forward.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll get into that. But yeah, like so much of this movie is I would consider this to be maybe there's kind of 3 movies that I consider to be like the grand cornerstones of horror zombie comedies, and those are Evil Dead 2, Shaun of the Dead, and this movie.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to even pick a favorite out of those three, but those I think, and then well, I don't know if you want to count They Live, but I mean that would be up there too. But yeah, those three, and I think the Dead Alive out of all of them, or Braindead, I'm kind of using the name interchangeably, but I'll get into the differences too.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah, Dead Alive or Braindead, I think is maybe the most underrated out of all three of those. I mean, it was a big hit back in New Zealand when it came out in North America under the title Dead Alive. It didn't really get that much attention. It kind of bombed at the box office.
Yeah,
but it's become a cult classic years later, partially because of the success of Lord of the Rings, but also I think this would have, even if Peter Jackson didn't go on to make Lord of the Rings, this would have been rediscovered. I mean,
oh yeah,
this
absolutely.
would have been like, this would have got a fan base eventually.
Yeah, like there's so many moments here that I didn't know were from this movie.
Yeah.
I've seen I kick ass for the Lord like 500 times online. I had no idea it was from this movie. No idea. And it coming up was so incredible. That at that moment, it was like, okay, this is like absolute cinema.
Yeah.
Like, he is in total control. Because there's not a whole lot of horror. Like, horror comedies are weird for me. I think it's very easy to just sort of make it become a comedy with horror elements.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of horror, like you talk about really good horror comedies. You talk about, like, Shaun of the Dead specifically is the main one I'm thinking of. Is Shaun of the Dead has some really horrific moments in it.
Yeah.
And also some really amazing comedy. And sometimes it blends together.
Yeah.
And that's it like Edgar Wright does such a great job of sort of like fluctuating that tone in a way that feels really natural.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a lot of other like lesser horror comedies will sort of do this thing where it just sort of becomes Scary Movie. You know, where like there's horror things happening, and they're like, "Oh hell no!" And then they like throw something at him, and he falls over. I'm simplifying it very.
I watched Scary Movie 2 this month. It was not funny. It has not aged well.
Like, yeah,
and it was never that good when it came out.
Exactly. Like, Scream. I watched Scream for the first time this month, and that's another great example of that. That one I think leans a little farther into the horror side of it, but like the funny parts are really funny, and I think. With that movie, a lot of the comedy is based on how the villain acts.
Yeah.
I think there's not a whole lot of jokes. It's more the fact that Ghostface sort of pops out, and then he goes to kill you. And whenever you normally hit the horror movie villain over the head with something, they'll like shrug it off. Ghostface goes down, like he goes down and he gets hit hard. He's like there's parts where he's like gets hit in the stomach and he's like laying there for a second trying to recuperate, and like that's how that handles it. And this movie sort of takes the practical effects and. At the same time as they are horrifying, they use them in such a way that it's like it's really funny. Like every horrific scene is also funny at the same time. There's no like in between of like there's the horror and the comedy. It's all blended together.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could watch this if you're in the right mood for a horror and you want to be scared or grossed out. Like you could watch it that way, but you could also watch it through a different lens where you just want to like laugh and have a good time.
Exactly.
And it would work as both. Yeah. And speaking of Shaun of the Dead, is Simon Pegg has stated on record that Braindead is one of the main inspirations for Shaun of the Dead. And you can see why, and it's not just because of the blending of like horror and comedy and stuff like that. I find that they actually thematically are very similar, just in terms of like the whole idea of a man-child trying to grow up, and then like how it like affects his relationship, and you know how it's like they're kind of romantic comedies, and at the same time they're like the really gory, and I mean Shaun of the Dead's not as gory as this, but I mean but they both use that method in order to tell their story and to have some good laughs. And so it's actually in Hot Fuzz, Peter Jackson makes a cameo. He's at the beginning of the movie with the Santa Claus guy and stabs Simon Pegg in the hand. That's Peter Jackson in the Santa Claus suit. And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's I'm pretty sure that they're friends, like actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I mean like the Cornetto trilogy, all had Martin Freeman in it, which, you know, he was also the star of the Hobbit trilogy. And The World's End actually came around the same time as the Hobbit trilogy, which is funny because it was like his most prominent role in the Cornetto trilogy. He kind of made 2 cameos in the other ones. But there's so much of this. And what I really appreciate about a movie like Braindead as opposed to something like Scream, and I like Scream all right. I mean, it's not a very subtle movie, I would say.
Oh, yeah,
it's a very...
it's very much a time capsule.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like when you watch this movie, Braindead, you can see that there are, like, actual references to other horror things and things. Like, so basically the whole entire relationship between Lionel and his mother...
Yeah, that's Psycho.
Yeah, it's very much Psycho.
Yeah.
And then there's this scene later on where Paquita is, like, hiding in a closet, and it's obviously a nod to Halloween.
Yeah,
and,
it's like the same slatted closet. That was one thing I picked up right away, is a lot of these characters are sort of tropes of the genre itself. More of like a genre parody than I'd say Scary Movie was.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Scary Movie is just a straight-up comedy, and this is more trying to do a bunch of different things. But, I do appreciate something like this a lot more, where it's like you see those things that are being nodded to, and it's like they don't have to make a big deal out of like, oh, it's the thing that...
exactly.
So, I never...
It's the Ring Girl!
Yeah,
She's breakdancing!
Yeah, and, but, you know, the movie is actually very over the top in some other ways, too. So, I guess from the opening scene, we'll start from the beginning, because there's actually... Speaking of like movie references and stuff like that, there's a lot of those in the original. Scene.
It's that opening scene with the 2 doctors and the brain, and they break the jar with the brain in it. Yeah,
exactly. They break the jar with the brain in it.
That's legit. That was my first reaction when trying to watch this movie. Is I brought it up on YouTube, and I was sure I had the right one, and we got about 10 minutes in, and I was like, babe, I don't think Bill Pullman is in Braindead.
In terms of that opening scene, so first of all, the actual place where it's shot was a place that they eventually used later in Return of the King.
I noticed that. I was like, I'm sure I've seen this. I was like, I'm sure I've seen this in one of the Lord of the Rings movies. I just didn't know which one.
Yeah, it was the part where Aragorn meets the army of the dead.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, they go into that place. And so... the other thing is that the island that they go to is called Skull Island, which is a reference to Peter Jackson's favorite movie, King Kong. And so one thing about that, so the main creature that causes this zombie outbreak is called the Sumatran rat monkey.
Yes.
And they explain in the movie that the Sumatran rat monkey was created when these giant rats came onto Skull Island at some point, and they raped the monkeys, and then they caused them to have these deformed births of
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so this Sumatran rat monkey, but the reason I'm bringing up the Sumatran rat monkey is because this creature actually has a little bit of a legacy of its own. So, I said, it's taking place on Skull Island.
Right.
And so, years after this movie, Peter Jackson creates his remake of King Kong. And there's a part in the beginning of the movie where they go into the cargo bay in the ship, and they're walking through the cargo bay, and then there's these cages in the background, and there's this one with a blanket over it. But if you read, like, there's this message on the cage, and it says, Sumatran rat monkey, beware the bite. So,
oh my god!
So in this universe, Braindead actually takes place in the same universe as King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong. He didn't forget. He made the reference to Braindead in King Kong, which was amazing.
What, like a man for the people, really giving us what we want. I love that.
Yeah.
I need to watch Peter Jackson's King Kong now.
Yeah, there's actually a few interesting things I found out about King Kong recently. So I'm going to talk about Peter Jackson's cameo in this movie for a second, but before I do that, in King Kong, something that I learned recently, which I didn't know about before, is that... So Peter Jackson, for anybody who doesn't know, he makes a cameo in every single one of his movies. And in King Kong, he's the gunner, he's one of the gunners in the airplanes who's shooting down King Kong. And at first I was like, okay, I mean, that's an alright cameo. Yeah. That's like, whatever. But the significance of it is that in the original King Kong, that's the same cameo that the director makes in that movie. So he's actually referencing that cameo in King Kong.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Man, like
that is some fucking next level
commitment
to, it shows that he knows everything about King Kong, the original movie. And another one of his favorite movies is Dawn of the Dead, which is and
that was another a shot where with the hands coming clean through the door.
Yeah.
In the climax, I was like, that's Dawn of the Dead. I knew right away.
Yeah. And okay, one more thing about the Sumatran rat monkey before I get into Peter Jackson's cameo in this movie is that the Sumatran rat monkey actually appears in a video game.
Really?
Yeah, Hellgate London. It was a PC game that came out in 2006, and the Sumatran rat monkey is just a creature that you can shoot at that.
It's so random.
Yeah, so I don't know. The Sumatran rat monkey has kind of a legacy of his own, even though he's not really in the movie that much.
Yeah, but the stop motion effects that they use to animate this little horrible monster, incredible.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely love the stop motion in this movie too. And it's
so good.
Yeah, which I mean you probably took that from King Kong as inspiration as well.
Exactly.
The original King Kong. And so, but anyway, the reason I was going to get into the cameo that Peter Jackson has in this movie, do you know what the cameo is?
I had to go back because he didn't look like himself. Yeah. He didn't look like but he's the mortuary assistant, right?
Yeah. So, there are two references to Peter Jackson's previous movies in this movie, and they both happen one right after the other. So, one is when they're at the funeral, and they're going into the funeral. They're outside. That's when Uncle Les starts hitting on Paquita and
Uncle
that
Les.
stuff. Yeah, I'll get into Uncle Les. But the thing is, and this is actually hilarious, is that when they're about to enter the funeral to go into the place where it's being held.
Right, the chapel.
There's the organ music, and if you listen closely, it's Sodomy from Meet the Feebles.
No,
it's an orchestrated version of Sodomy from Meet the Feebles.
Fuck off. No, it is not. I straight up don't believe you. I can't. I feel like I would have.
Yeah.
God damn, man.
Yeah. So, but right after that happens, it's when it cuts to the scene with the Undertaker and the Undertaker's assistant, who Peter Jackson plays, and
who for the moment he's there plays it so great. There's one close up shot of him, and he's shocked, and then he's giddy. He's like a little freak. I love him.
Okay, well, if you love him, then you're in luck, because the reason that I'm bringing this up is because that character and the way that he's dressed and the way his mannerisms are, it's the exact same character as Derek from Braindead, or not, from Bad Taste rather.
Oh!
Yeah, so he's basically reprising his role as Derek from Bad Taste in a very small cameo appearance in this movie.
That's fucking crazy. He's got a Peter Jackson early filmography cinematic universe.
Yeah, and
awesome.
He also he sets up the stage for King Kong later and all these other stuff.
Yeah, everything is linked. Holy shit. Genius shit. Stuff that doesn't really matter in the long run, but if you are so committed to the filmography and are a fan of his work, then you are rewarded for that. Yeah. That's and it's not people talk a lot about little nudges and winks to the camera and different things, but when it's this one filmmaker who's clearly cares so much about making movies and making them entertaining, it means so much more.
Yeah. So those were basically the references that I had. There was probably more that I'll get into. But after the Sumatran rat monkey is taken from the island, they're brought to the Wellington Zoo. And one thing I gotta say, too, is that Peter Jackson, he often makes movies that are really fantastical.
Right,
Meet the Feebles, or, Bad Taste, or, this is, I guess, the only other movie where it was kind of taking place in Wellington was the Frighteners, but
Right,
they
right,
didn't.
right.
They pretended it wasn't Wellington. They pretended. I remember that part when we were like, the President of the United States of America, and we were all, me and you and Brendan kind of looked at each other. As like, this is not America.
This is
very
no way
clearly
this is America.
New Zealand. So, but what I really like about this movie is that Wellington really feels part of its identity.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of different places in here, like the Wellington Zoo, like the Wellington Airport, which I guess is another place that I also visited.
Right, yeah.
From the house.
We're going to get into that, too, because you've been to most of these places.
Not actually. I was... When we were... So earlier this year, I took a trip to New Zealand with my family, and we went to the Shire, and we went to go see a bunch of the other places where The Lord of the Rings was filmed. Actually, the Shire... the set from the Shire in The Lord of the Rings was torn down, but they rebuilt it for The Hobbit. And then after The Hobbit, they just kept it there as a tourist attraction.
They should have just left it before, but
yeah, exactly.
regardless.
But hindsight's 20/20. So we went to this big park in Wellington, which was this place where in The Lord of the Rings, the famous shot in the Fellowship of the Ring, where the Nazgul are looking over the tree bark, and then all the hobbits are hiding under the root of the tree.
Yeah.
And that park, and also a scene where Frodo's in a tree reading a book. That park is right around. It's a 10-minute drive from the house from Braindead.
Oh my
and
god!
So most of my family hadn't seen Braindead, and
yeah,
they're like, they're like, what? And so had I had the time, and they were into it, I probably would have gone to go see more locations, because I do know that more you can find, like the cemetery, the zoo, the store that Paquita works in. You can go to that place. But I really wanted to go see the house. Like, if I was going to go see any place in Braindead, it would be the house.
For sure.
And I went to go see it, and it's still there. It's still, like, looming over the the city of Wellington.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is a huge house.
It looks huge.
I don't know if they filmed the interiors inside of it or not. Like, I couldn't find any information on that.
Yeah.
I could believe it either way. That house is still there. And I think that in the movie there was, like, less houses kind of in front of it. Now there's, like, more, like, houses around it.
Yeah.
But that house is still there. You can still see it. And
That's
it is,
so cool.
Yeah,
man.
and I was just thinking, like, the end of the movie when, like, he zip lines down on his belt, and it's like, I remember thinking about that as soon as I was taking that picture, and it is a beautiful house.
Yeah, it is a beautiful house. I would totally understand why some sort of herpes-ridden, distant relative would want to take it from somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But yeah, like, it's there's just so much personality to everything. And I think it feels so, I guess, the whole world feels lived in, because it is. Like, everything is filmed, like, in locations that feel like real places.
Yeah.
And, like, and that's despite the fact that this is a cartoon. Like, this movie is, like goofy as hell.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of really well executed, like, film techniques to make a movie still sort of scary at parts when we've got, like, ears falling off into soup and stuff, and, like, it's incredible.
I know some people who still can't eat pudding after watching this.
There's so much. That's the thing is, there's a little something in this to gross out everyone. Yeah. If you're not into the dismemberment, there's a whole lot of that. Yeah. If you are not into, like, pus, like bursting pustules and stuff, there's so much of that, and it's so fucking gross. Like, there's something about the blood. I don't know what they did in the special effects department, but there's this, like, greasiness to all of the blood. It starts red and then gets kind of pink, like there's like fat mixed in it. It's, like, so visceral. It's worse than, like, the real thing, I would say. Like, if I saw the real thing, it wouldn't be nearly as gross as what this looks like.
Yeah, and this movie actually has, I think, a record. Just in the final scene alone, it uses 300 liters of blood.
Wow!
That's how much blood that they were using. And I don't know. I think that I figured out what it was made out of, but I forget. I didn't write that down. But I think it was like pork and a few other things, and like that's why it has kind of like this hue to it.
Meatiness,
but, yeah.
meatiness, yeah.
Well, what I really like about this movie too is that when you say that like it's the goriest movie of all time, you probably think, or at least I think most people would think that it's just nonstop, like from beginning to end.
Yeah,
no substance, just gore, 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 gore. Because there is a lot of movies like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that this movie actually manages to outdo most of those movies and actually have substance to be funny and tell an emotional story with likable characters.
Yes!
Like, it's very good at balancing all of those things.
Yeah. like when the movie starts off and you see how goofy it is and how, like, cartoony everyone almost acts.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, this is gonna be funny, but like, can I get attached to these characters? You absolutely can.
Yeah,
exactly. It's really hard to have a man-child type character and make them relatable, I guess. But I think they did it 100%.
You can see why he's stunted though because of his mother,
exactly.
And like you don't blame him for his like issues that he's having, and he's still a likable person at the end of it all.
Yeah, it's not like Sean. Like Sean, he is like moved out and still having like petulant issues with his parents and stuff. With him, he is under his mother's thumb.
Yeah,
like his mother is the main villain of this movie, even after she's dead. Well, after.
Well, you could argue that Uncle Les takes over for a little bit, but even then, like he has kind of a redemption thing, which the funniest redemption thing ever.
Oh my god! Yeah, we will talk. Yeah. So, but yeah. So basically, I think we've just basically talked about how the monkey is in the zoo now. That's as far as we got.
Yeah.
So after the monkey arrives at the zoo, we get our setup for all of our main characters, Paquita and
Lionel.
Lionel.
I
thought it was
Hansel.
Hansel.
Lionel, probably.
Lionel. They start dating. His mother follows
because
him
she finds it in like her gypsy magic cards or whatever that she's supposed to come across her true love.
Her true love under the star and the moon.
Yeah, and that's when Lionel walks into the store and knocks something over, and then she's like, "Oh, it's his sign."
It's his sign. The stereotypes they're pushing for like Romani people are funny. They don't. It doesn't go too far to be like offensive, I think. But yeah, they're very heavy-handed, and I think Vaquita is so funny in that just the way that she acts. She knows what she wants, and like she's not like the love interest character in these like gore movies is usually just helpless. She isn't. She very much handles herself because Lionel is totally incapable of doing that with how he's been raised.
I heard that in Spanish, I don't know if this is true, but the title is Your Mother Ate My Dog.
That's a great fucking title! Oh, I love that so much. We should do... this might get cut out. We should do a game sometime where I find a bunch of like international titles of movies and we try to guess which is which.
Yeah.
That would be
There
awesome.
are some funny ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, while they're at a date to the zoo, his mother gets bitten by this monkey.
Because she's tracking them.
She's following them. Yeah. Specifically because she gets too involved. She gets bitten. And immediately, like within 24 hours, she is like pus coming out of her arms and like dying, and it is so gross. It gets so real so incredibly fast.
Yeah, it really is.
And yeah, it just sort of goes downhill from there. Basically, I like how the main premise of this movie is not Lionel trying to like stop this virus from spreading. It's basically just him trying to hide the fact
Yeah, that's the thing about Psycho. He literally keeps his mom in his basement.
Exactly. He's literally... It's this great plot of this guy who is completely incompetent in, like, social or...
Which I'm pretty sure the basement is a set. That was the only, like, part of the house where I was like, this is definitely a set. But, I mean, maybe it's not. But
who knows?
My inklings tell me.
But yeah, he is completely incompetent. He can't deal with these situations. He can barely deal with his mother. And now his mother's a zombie and, like, trying to kill everybody. And it's just... it's like a comedy... It becomes a comedy of errors.
Yeah.
Where, like... people get bit and he has to take care of them. I also really appreciate that every zombie sort of has their own, like, critical wound.
Yeah.
Like the nurse who is the first to get bit has her head, like, pulled all the way back. So there's this fucking gross scene where he's, like, trying to feed them all at the table, and Which
I feel like I've seen that in another movie where, like, the head's off.
The head's off.
But I can't remember what that movie is, but...
Yeah. But I can't imagine it does it better than this.
Yeah, no, I don't think it does.
It's so grody. It's the... Oh, my God. And, like, yeah, so he's, like, basically just trying to keep people out of the basement and keep people from knowing that there is zombies living amongst him and in his house. Meanwhile, he is just falling apart. Every scene where time passes, he just looks worse and worse, and he is losing his mind. Meanwhile, Paquita is just pissed off that he doesn't want to hang out with her.
Yeah, like, but she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though, I don't know, maybe eating the dog might have been some sort of indication that something...
Yeah!
That was a weird scene, because it was just, like, right after it happened, like, they called the nurse or whatever, and then Paquita just, like, kind of walks home thinking the mother's dead and the dog is eaten, and it's just like, what?
Okay.
Like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
But yeah, it's one of those things I just didn't think of, because this movie sort of treads that line of, like comedy logic and, like, horror logic of, like, you know, she didn't think of it because she's too wrapped up in her own mind.
Actually, now that I bring this up, I just looked in the notes. What's even better than "your mother ate my dog" is his response. Not all of it.
Oh, like, such, like, the dog effect specifically of her, like, him, like, pulling it out of her mouth.
Yeah,
is so fucking nasty, man. like Saw. You talk about Saw with its gore. Like that's like torture porn, you know? Yeah. It's about, like, agony. But, like, in this, it's like you don't really ascribe pain to the gore. Like, everyone, because it's so ridiculous, it doesn't feel like... Sometimes when I watch a horror movie, it gets to me, and I can't really get into the comedy aspect of it, because, like, I put myself in that situation. Like, that would fucking hurt, and the agony of that is all I can think of.
Yeah.
But with this, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt like, you know, video game logic.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Which there should be a Dead Alive
video
game,
I think,
or like a Braindead video game.
I was saying that too, there should be a video game for this. I would pay good money. Honestly, Dead Rising is
that's what I was going to say, is that Dead Rising actually got into a lawsuit because... with the producers of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, because they were, you know, saying, oh, you ripped off the whole concept of zombies in a shopping mall, and I think that they actually won the lawsuit against the...
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, but it's like, what about in Dead Rising, you can get a lawnmower and you can chop up the zombies like the way that he does at the end of this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's obviously referencing more than just Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, like, Dawn of the Dead isn't the only fucking horror movie about zombies in an enclosed space.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they chose a shopping mall is because it's full of stuff you can kill zombies with.
In fact, even, like, in this movie, now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of the scenes in the cemetery did kind of bring me, like, gave me flashbacks to Return of the Living Dead a little bit. Yeah. So I feel like there was a little bit of that in there too. I don't know if there's any direct references to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it does definitely remind me of that. And that's another... I wouldn't put it on par with, like, you know, Shaun of the Dead or, you know, those, but I do really like Return of the Living Dead. It's a good zombie horror comedy.
Yeah, I think it's the only zombie movie I've ever watched where they go brains.
That was the first one that they did.
Really?
That. So,
it's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but Yeah, that was I know they do that in like Plants vs Zombies and like some
Yeah.
other video games and stuff like that. But
Yeah, it's one of those. What was that? What was that zombie movie we watched? Another Living Dead movie. It wasn't Return of the Living Dead. It was like
City of the Living Dead.
City of the Living Dead.
Is that the Italian one?
Yeah, the Italian one. There's so many Living Dead movies. It's hard to
Yeah.
like keep track of all of them.
Well, that's because Night of the Living Dead itself they didn't renew the copyright properly, so like you can just make Of the Living Dead zombie movies and you'll get away with it because
I really like how Return of the Living Dead starts up as like, you ever seen that movie Night of the Living Dead? That's always so funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like this is a horrible example, but like if you ever seen Human Centipede 2,
I have not.
that movie starts off as like a guy who's into the first Human Centipede who wants to like try it. And it's well, that's cute. I like that. And it's not cute for very long. But that's actually the only one of those movies I saw, and it's fucking gross. And I don't like it.
All right. I still haven't seen them. So.
Yeah, you're probably
those were the, like, Human Centipede's a great example of a movie where it's just, like, I just thought it would be, like, done by the concept. And again, I haven't seen it, so I'm not judging it per se.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, that's the reason I was never really that interested of, like, going out of my way to see it.
Because it's a cool concept, but 3 movies cool? Like, it just seems silly.
Yeah, no, but yeah, something like Braindead, where it's like, you know, it's not the sum of how shocking it is.
Exactly. There's so much more in here.
Yeah.
I talk about how goofy this movie is, but there's like a heartfelt story of coming to terms with being your own person here. Like, he realizes that his mother is the root of all of his problems, and if he keeps supporting her through everything, then he will even in death, she will always stick with him. She'll never leave him, even when she's dead. And yeah, that's what the end of this movie is him like taking control. It's such a great and there was another thing I wanted to talk about is a lot of this movie, at least the version I watched on YouTube, I believe it was cut together with like original scenes that were cut from the Dead Alive American version. Is that correct? Because there was certain scenes where that would come up, and it was pretty high quality 1080p.
Oh yeah, there was like some coloring differences that I saw because I watched that version too.
Yeah,
and I mean, Dead Alive doesn't really add scenes from Braindead. It's 7 minutes shorter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it almost seems like those were the scenes that were cut out.
Yeah.
Like the ones that were like much lower quality.
And
so
I think
like
some of them were actually, because I looked it up later. Because I have seen Dead Alive and Braindead, like both cuts. Well, I've seen the unrated version of Dead Alive. I know that there's an R-rated version that's like 85 minutes long. I've never seen that, and I hear it's, you know, I can't imagine that I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually, though, a few different versions of this movie. Let me just kind of look at my notes for that.
Yeah, while you're doing that, like the one of the, it was just some weird things. Like I noticed that all of the scenes involving, there's a part at the beginning where one of the zombies wanders out from the basement and like joins the party goers and is like talking to people, and like people are trying to talk to him and they just think he's drunk, and eventually Lionel just sort of upends a bottle of whiskey into his mouth to like slow him down and like sedate him. And there were some pretty funny jokes in that, but all of those scenes seemed to be cut in the
that specifically was one of them, the whiskey scene.
Yeah,
that's not in.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's not even like the most intense gore stuff that's usually cut.
Exactly.
Like there's only in the final like bit of it, there's only about like 16 seconds of gore that's cut, which is interesting. But I'm looking at the different cuts of the. So there's a version of this. They did a bunch of different versions of this movie in different countries. There's a Hong Kong version, which is, I think, mostly intact. It's like a minute shorter than the Braindead. And there's also a German version, but the German version, I think that they put one version of it in theaters, and then they put another version of it on DVD, but they also had the theatrical version of the German version.
Jesus
so it's
Christ,
like they have a bunch of different...
so fucking hard.
Yeah, so there's a... but then again, like in some countries it was shown pretty much intact. Like I'm pretty sure in Australia,
And I think in the UK I read.
Yeah, exactly. Which is interesting because I usually think of like Australia and the UK as having like much more stringent laws than
especially with how fucked up and horrible this movie is.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe that's only a place because this would have been a video nasty if it came out in the right time period.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's, I would say, glorifying the violence it's doing, just in the fact that it's not as much glorifying violence as it is glorifying the how much fake blood we can buy, and how many fucked up like fake limbs we can throw around.
So the scenes that I have written down that were cut out of Dead Alive is the one where like they put the Jack Daniels down the zombie's throat.
And everything involving that too. So there would be like tiny like snippet shots.
There's one, and this one I do not understand at all. So like this is like during the party when they open the basement and then the zombies there and he headbutts them, like that's cut out. The headbutt is cut out, and you just see the zombies kind of like coming up and like breaking through the door. It's like, out of all things, it's like, was that headbutt just way too intense for the audience? That was too much. That was the point.
There was some pearl-clutching old ladies watching at the test screening like, oh my goodness!
Yeah.
You could seriously hurt your head like that!
Yeah, and so then the scene with, so there's this one of the zombies, he gets cut in half, and like his torso is walking around, or not walking around, but crawling around, and then his legs are walking around outside of that. And so there's a scene later on where Paquita and Rita, I think was
Rita, yeah.
Yeah, they rip apart the legs, and then they start like using them to fight off the zombies. So that's cut out of the Dead Alive version. There's it's like, when the zombie nurse and the priest have sex, like that was cut out, which that one I guess I can understand.
That's pretty gross. Hey, I want to say, I have a new letterbox list to start, and it's movies where a zombie conceives and then gives birth to a full-grown baby on screen. And there would be 2 movies, and I guess it's 28 years later, and Dead Alive, Braindead, I guess.
There was a zombie snacks, or there was
snacks.
Yeah. There was zombie sex in Dead Snow too, but I didn't see the results of that, so it could have happened. Who knows?
You can't quite make the list.
Yeah. But it's just like weird stuff like that's cut out.
I noticed another scene that was like it was when they were at their date at the park. Or their date at the zoo, and there was another one of those weird color graded scenes. I don't know if this is one of the cut scenes, but his mom is like, it's one of those like picture cutouts where you put your face through and people take pictures, and then his mom like pushes a kid out of it and sticks her face through, and she's like looking around, and then it will cut to a different scene of her, and it was like, that's weird. I don't know why that would be cut.
Yeah,
it's like.
Have that on the things that were cut, so maybe that was something that was cut.
Maybe it was, because it's such like a quick little scene. I was like, I just think it's weird that you're...
Oh, and then putting the head into the blender, that was another thing that was cut.
Yes!
That might have been a reference to Gremlins, actually, now that I think about it. But
fuck, it probably was. It's just like paying homage to like all of these different genres.
Yeah.
Which is like fair. I find a lot of horror movies do that. A lot of horror movies like to, pay homage to like other movies.
Yeah.
But like there's so many in here.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell that Peter Jackson was like well into the film theory part of it. Like he's seen all this stuff, and he knows how to top it. And he
really does.
Yeah, he knows how to like make this a whole new thing. And it's interesting because this was the third movie in what's considered his splatter trilogy, which was Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and this. And I've always kind of wanted him to do another movie like this because like I've seen. It's not like this is a case where, he went on to do, like, Lord of the Rings and this stuff, and then, like, oh, this stuff's below me now. No, he still has an appreciation for this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's talked about wanting to re-release them on Blu-ray. He's talked about, doing different things with them. So, like, he still stands by these movies, and he's, like, happy about them. And, like, again, even in King Kong, he references Braindead. So
exactly,
it's like,
He clearly still cares a whole lot. It's like, I would love to see more of this from him. Because, as I said... when watching this, it feels like this is what he was born to do.
Yeah.
Like, go.
But then again, I also get that feeling watching The Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
So it's like, this was what he was born to do. But, I think this one scratches that itch, too.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, they haven't released like Braindead, the prequel trilogy, where all the movies are way more subpar than the original trilogy that came out. But that's besides the point.
I actually have heard that he thought about turning Bad Taste into a trilogy.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean that'd be funny.
That's the only one of this trilogy that I haven't watched yet.
Well, to be fair, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as this or Meet the Feebles.
Oh, really?
I mean, like, I know a lot of people like are kind of mixed on Meet the Feebles. I think Meet the Feebles is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing when I was first talking to Trevor from Media Mementos,
right.
and after we talked about Moral Laurel, it was like, I didn't know that anybody actually appreciated Meet the Feebles on the same level that I do, but, it turns out that he does.
Yeah.
And, so with... Meet the Feebles, I think it's brilliant. I think it's almost as good as this movie, but I would say that I do like this movie a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I just want to say, they're such a not even just talking about, like, the effects themselves, but just talking about, like, what is actually being put onto the screen. There's a part that sort of... I think the part that got the most visceral reaction out of me was there's a party guest who is... trying to squeeze through like a window or something, or through a door, and his legs get stuck. And you sort of think he's going to come out like just entrails.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. All that comes out is the bones of his legs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my fucking god!
To be fair, that probably, out of everything on this rewatch, that still kind of shocks me a little bit.
It really is. It's like, it's so brutal, and he's just like still awake, and I can't imagine, like, at that point you gotta imagine the shock has just kicked in, and it's like, oh, like, just, where do you think of this shit?
Yeah.
Like, for real, and then there's the scene with the baby jumping out of, I think it's out of Rita's head, like breaking out. It's sort of the cover of the movie, but in like a way more visceral, like bloody version of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god.
To be fair, I think the baby's the only like creature that we don't see die at the end. Like we see him in the
That's
fire.
Right.
Like, so maybe there could be a scenario where they do a sequel and it's like the baby actually survived.
Don't give me hope. Oh my god. If Peter Jackson could get the original cast back.
Which I'm sure he could. He got Lionel back for Jack Brown Genius. That's the only... He's been in very few movies, and one of the other ones is Jack Brown Genius. I don't know what Paquita's doing. I don't know what a lot of them are doing, but I would have loved to like see them in Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Imagine if it was Lionel instead of Brett, who was like, "My lady, we cannot delay." or what if it was Uncle Les?
Yeah, Uncle Les.
Uncle Les, like, "My lady, we cannot delay."
Yeah, one thing about Uncle Les is that I was like looking up the actor, and I was like, Ian Watkin was his name.
Okay.
And because I searched him up and I was kind of like looking into him, the YouTube algorithm gave me the story of Ian Watkins.
Okay.
Who is was the singer of the Lost Prophets, who was eventually found out to be a sex offender.
Oh my god.
Who got put into prison and then he got his throat cut in prison. So it was
Sweet
like
Jesus.
So I just want to make it clear that Uncle Les in this movie, Ian Watkin, is not the same person as Ian Watkins. It's a very important distinction.
Very important distinction to make, but we should also make a distinction that jury's out on if Uncle Les is a sex offender.
Yeah, this was Ian Watkin playing Ian Watkins, pretty much.
For real, yeah, he is so gross. Oh my god, one of the effects wasn't even like that like grossed me out the most. Is it wasn't even a visual effect. Yeah. It's when he comes to the door, and it's when he's trying to like extort Lionel and get all the money out of him, and he goes and he takes a piss. And before he takes a piss, he like grimaces for a second, and then you hear like a handful of kidney stones hit the bottom of the bowl. And I just had to like pause for a second. I was laughing so hard. Yeah. Like, oh my god, that's so fucking foul. This movie, like, when I watch it, it's like if you could see this movie as an object, the entirety of the movie, it would smell awful. Like the stinkiest, greasiest movie you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I heard actually that they filmed it in December, and then like whenever they were like leaving the set and they were like covered in blood or everything, it was so cold. Like it was,
my God!
yeah. So it makes me wonder, like the scene near the end where he's like running on the blood and like he can't move anywhere. I wonder if that's just something that happened.
Yeah, the running on the blood was like so good. It was like, that's Scooby-Doo. Like if we're talking about like horror media, that's definitely Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
right
there's
there.
there was definitely some like,
like.
yeah.
And then
and actually too, another reference I thought I might have noticed is during like the family like eating and everything, that really reminded me of Texas Chainsaw, like the whole family, like because specifically when the zombies are eating, because there's one part of the movie where the pudding thing I referenced at the beginning. I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen it already if you're watching this, but the pudding thing I've referenced at the beginning, like there's that scene, and then later on they have another dinner scene with a bunch of zombies, and that very much reminded me of Texas Chainsaw whenever they're kind of like sitting around, and yeah, I could imagine that was like an inspiration too. And in terms of like how I think this might have inspired other movies, I honestly, if you've seen The Substance, that's I see a lot of like similarities between like the way that the gore is used. And,
I would love to find out how much that this is related to it, because there's so many things like again the baby breaking out of Rita's head that's sort of the same sort of thing, like the body acting like as like a chrysalis. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of effects here that. Really, and the monstrous version of a character at the end, which by the way did not need to be that caked up, like the biggest juiciest ass ever. They didn't even make it look gross. She's just walking up the stairs with a dump truck, like but the idea that she turns into almost like this sad scene where Lionel is like, I have to finally let my mother go, and he makes her drink poison. Yeah. And then it turns out the poison is an animal stimulant, and then it makes her into like her skull changes into like a velociraptor skull. It's like it makes no sense at all. And it almost there was the part where all the zombies jump out of the dirt almost reminded me of like Power Rangers, you know, like whenever like putties would show up, they would like jump out of the ground and be like, whoa! Like they jump up and they're fully ready to fight, and it's just there's so much fun being had here. Yeah, you know, like it's just so much care put into like a product like this.
Yeah, and that's why it's still like one of my favorite movies. I mean, just like. I can understand, okay, maybe this isn't, like, your type of humor. Maybe it's too gross for you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Whatever, I can understand that. But how could you not say it's, like, well-made? How could you not say it's not achieving what it's trying to go for?
Exactly. Like you can say, this movie's real gross. By the end of this, during the lawnmower scene, there's a shot where Lionel is having more blood sprayed on him. And I can only imagine it's just Peter Jackson and the effects team with buckets of this blood throwing it on him. Like, it looks like they dumped like a gallon
had, like, a
of
pump or something that he was shooting in.
Yeah, there was like it was like a gallon of paint. Like I could barely make out his features. Yeah. There was so much blood, and God, what? And I also wanted to say, I love that the slipping of the floor is like something that he's constantly having troubles with. Like in that final shot after he's done killing everyone with the lawnmower, he's still slipping on the
Yeah, there's like foreshadowing in the movie too, and like stuff like that. Another one is like near the very beginning when he's mowing the lawn, and then there's like this really close up shot of the blades, and it's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All I knew about this movie when I looked it up to go watch it was I saw a clip that was like Braindead lawnmower scene. Yeah. So I was like, something's gonna happen with that lawnmower. I just know it.
Yeah. And happened it did.
What a fucking incredible scene. Like like sometimes it doesn't feel, when you have a man-child character like this, you really it needs to feel earned that he sort of makes a transformation. Yeah. And that big action movie, like, let's party. like his groovy moment. Yeah.
That's a very Bruce Campbell-y moment.
Very, very Bruce Campbell moment. And this movie came out after that, and I could definitely, we talk about a lot about what this movie inspired. I think that was definitely very much inspired by Bruce Campbell in The Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Just the idea of him turning into, because that's like in between 1 and 2, you can talk about whether that is like a remake or not of Evil Dead. Nobody cares.
It's not. I mean, it's a remake for 10 minutes, and then
exactly.
Then it literally picks up where the second movie or the first movie ended.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fuck. I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. Yeah. So yeah, like giving him this moment of being like, okay, he is a man now. He's not a boy anymore. He is a man, and doing that with the biggest display of violence in the movie is so great. I also really like the last confrontation on the roof of the house with his mom.
Yeah,
is also really incredible.
Yeah. That's probably the darkest part in the movie too, where you find out that she drowned her husband and his mistress, and then she lied about it this whole time.
And he witnessed it too. Yeah. It's like, oh my god!
It's like that's again. It's not like a cheap little like, oh, this is a plot beat or this is just something as an excuse for gore. Like the actual story beats in this movie. Like, if you took the gore out of it, it would still work on its own for what it's trying to go for.
Exactly. And like, the way the movie characterizes him, it sort of makes it feel like Lionel is like a joke. So you sort of expect there to be some sort of joke involved in this big reveal, but there's not. It's played almost completely straight.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, he had a horrible fucking thing happen to him, and because of that, his mother just took control of his entire life, because if she didn't, then she would, the whole world would find out what she did.
Yeah.
And it justifies everything that happens to her too.
Yeah.
Because like up until that point, it's like, well, she was a terrible controlling person, but I don't think I would wish this on the worst person in the world. But now she's a murderer, and retroactively everything is okay. And like, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, it's like psychological in that, because like I'm sure that some people can probably relate to having like a really controlling,
absolutely,
like mother like that, and then like who knows like what's even worse than that. Like
what's worse than a controlling abusive parent is a murderous controlling abusive parent.
I'll tell you what she is. She's experienced.
Oh my god, that was such a good fucking joke. I don't know why that was so funny.
No, it was really funny though. There's her delivery, of the delivery from all the actors.
Yeah,
like,
everyone is delivering lines like perfectly for like a comedic film. Yeah. But again, it doesn't feel out of place for a horror movie as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing one of the reasons I wasn't as big on Bad Taste as I am. Like Meet the Feebles and Braindead I've seen many, many times. Bad Taste I've seen once. But like that was one where I just feel like, okay, this is like a special effects reel. It is them like, trying to be like really goofy. There's nothing really to gravitate towards in terms of an emotional story, which is acceptable for like a first movie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like that's something where like you're testing the grounds and but yeah, the reason that I think this and Meet the Feebles, I mean Meet the Feebles I can't really, they're using puppets, so there's no real actors to go off of, but Braindead specifically, like they have the same kind of goofy over the top acting as Bad Taste, but there's more of an emotional core to it.
Exactly.
And I also just think that it's a lot more clever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's there's a lot more going on here than it seems. That's the thing is, it's very easy to make a complex movie that is like layered and very deep. Yeah. But it's another thing to make a movie like that, but presented like this, as this odd, like crazy off the wall horror comedy that has a lot more going on underneath it. Like, I'm not going to say this is, like elevated horror or anything, but it is telling a really compelling story while like showing off these effects in the most like entertaining and creative way I've ever seen. I'm going to say it right now, probably the most creative use of practical effects I've seen in any movie.
That's the thing too. It's like with all the like the gore and like all that stuff, I don't think I saw the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I saw the same part of their body get dismembered. I don't think I saw like the same effect being used for like any of this stuff. Like it goes out of its way to do pretty much everything you could possibly do with killing zombies. It's not as simple as shooting them in the head. It's not as simple as like cutting them up. It's like But,
Exactly.
they do all of... Well, actually, I don't know if anybody has a gun in this movie.
Did they ever say what the actual, what actually kills the... Is it just, blowing off their head, or... because it's so weird. Eventually they're just all defeated.
Yeah, there's, one part where, literally there's organs that come out of, a corpse,
yes!
and then the organs just become sentient. And start,
the organs themselves.
Around.
That's another thing. I totally forgot to bring that up. That, that's like a secondary antagonist, almost. Because it's just the organs. It's what is the main... It almost brings up a good idea of, you reduce the body down to rotting parts of meat. It's where is the person?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is this starting? And the zombies clearly aren't people, so it's not in their brains. It almost tells me that whatever happens here originates in the lower gut. Yeah. And that's why, the guts can jump out. At some point it jumps back in to I forget the guy's name. The one of the greaser guys that attack him that get his ass kicked for the Lord.
Let me look that up.
Oh, but yeah, no, he's the guy who has his organs jump out.
Void.
Yeah, Void is the name, and he is there's this fucking great part where the organs are jumped back up into him. They're peeking out the bottom, but they're also he's got his arms wrapped around his legs, and he's using his arms as the legs to walk down the stairs. What the fuck do you need to be on to be yeah, I can visualize that. I can go to a special effects artist and be so it's this, and I wouldn't even know where to start. The amount of time you would have to think about something like this is worrying.
I'm actually I'm looking this up right now. I didn't know this till this very second. Is that a couple of the zombies were played by different people than their human counterparts.
Really?
One was Lionel's mother, Vera,
because
I can kind of see that,
because there's a lot of physically demanding shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see that, but the other one is the priest.
Really?
I could not tell. There's two different actors, one that plays the priest when he's alive, and one that plays the zombie priest.
Really?
Yeah.
I figured maybe there was two actors because one plays the priest and one plays the priest while he's kicking ass for the Lord.
Because maybe they did use the stuntman. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but I didn't even notice that either because they looked the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be fair, they're basically by the end of the movie when they've rotted away enough, they're basically wearing rubber masks of themselves because they're almost completely unrecognizable. But yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
To the priest specifically, just the priest.
Yeah, the priest and the mother.
The mother makes sense because she's an older lady, and you don't want anyone to break a hip while you're falling down the stairs or anything. But yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
What an incredible experience. I think this is legit one of my favorite horror movies I've ever watched.
Oh yeah, for me too. I mean, I can tell you that without any question because I've seen it for years, and it's one that I keep coming back to, and it's it's funny. I've actually watched this movie on first dates with girls because it's just okay, if they have a fucked up sense of humor, and there's some romance in there, so it's
there's romance.
Yeah, and you know what? I got laid that night. So
woohoo! Yeah. Oh. So basically, the bottom line is watch Braindead. It'll get you laid.
With the right girl.
With the right girl. Oh my God,
girls,
please.
I've watched this with more than one girl.
And
not on first dates. But some of them are they not so appreciative of, but some of them actually do really find it funny. And
that's great.
They get into it, and
it's a litmus test, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to be able to fuck with anybody who doesn't like Braindead.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much if you watch this, you kind of understand my sense of humor, and you understand the type of movies that I like to watch. Not all the time, but you will find me watching something like this every so often. And, it's great. Let's see. Is there any other...
Before we wrapped up, I just sort of wanted to go through, is there any, specific effect? I guess I already talked about the skeleton legs part that really got me, but what's your favorite effect in this movie?
Honestly, the ear going into the pudding is one up there for me. As gross as it is, it is fucking like so well done.
It really is. I'm gonna say if I had to choose.
There's so many good ones, though. I mean, that's not necessarily my favorite. That's just
that's just off the top of your head. The light bulb one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The late she gets a light bulb. What happens is she gets punched through her head. There's a lot of steps.
Yeah, there's a lot of like. There's also the spoon going through the head earlier.
The spoon. Oh my god, the spoon going through the head is so good. Yeah. Then she takes the food off the spoon and then eats it. Oh. But yeah, she gets punched through her head, and then eventually gets pushed back onto a light bulb, and then light is coming out of her mouth and her eyes for like the entire remainder of the movie too. Like she is just sitting, she's just in the back, like Paquita and Rita are in that room for like the majority of the climax, and she is just in the back just seizing with like electricity going through her and light shooting out of her eyes. It's horrifying.
Also, like on the roof at the end when the womb opens up and then falls into it. But everything around that like character really is.
Oh my god, the entirety of that. Honestly, my theory is that the character of this came out before or after Meet the Feebles.
This came out after Meet the Feebles.
I'm gonna say that whatever the full body puppet of the big ass like the hippo has been repurposed into this because only that hippo had that ass. Like for real. Like there's no reason she was that caked up. The only reason I can think of is that the hippo from Meet the Feebles was the base for that.
That's very possible. I wonder if like those puppets from Meet the Feebles still exist actually.
I would love to have one.
Yeah.
Just give it to me, please.
And there's so much of
Watch them, please, though.
There's so much of the lawnmower scene. Like even then, that's hard to even pick a favorite effect. Like maybe my favorite part of that is when like the guy's like spinning around in the lawnmower and then he holds his hand and then he starts to like go down.
Oh
that's
oh
so
my
good.
god, yeah.
I also like when he like falls from the ceiling and then like the zombie's head just explodes when he hits it. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like all the scenes with the baby are great too. The baby coming out, like again, like it's just
it's so hard to pick one. There's a great fucking scene with Uncle Les in the climax where he goes like juggernaut mode and like kills like 1 million zombies,
like chopping them all up with like two kitchen knives and
and it's eventually just like a pile of limbs.
They like speed them up and like
it was so funny. There's so much to like if you love like splatter films, this is the splatter film. Like there is so much splatter, like
and even if you're like not the biggest fan of splatter films, but you just want something that's like a really funny and like a really emotionally resonant story, and you can put up with the splatter, I would still recommend this to someone.
100%.
I'd recommend this to a lot of people. If you're a big horror fan and you haven't seen Braindead, I mean, you're missing out on a cornerstone. Like, I'm not even gonna bullshit, like beat around the bush or anything. Like, you are missing out on one of the most insane, groundbreaking movies that was ever made in this genre, especially in the 90s.
I would say that you said it earlier that this movie outdoes most of these newer movies in effects and in violence and gore. I would say it outdoes it probably by the midway point and then continues to outdo itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there is such a high bar, it's like it's not even funny.
Yeah, and it's not like it starts off like weak. It's like it just keeps going and going and going. Like, it starts off with like a dismembering scene where like they're chopping off like the guy's, arms and then eventually the head. But there was actually some times where like the head scene where like they didn't show it, and there was another scene like earlier in the basement with like the shadow of the mother was kind of being shown. Yeah. So like they also know when to use restraint.
Exactly.
Whenever there's they don't just put it in because it's like, oh, this will be so gory, and it's they know when to cut away. They know when to use things. I don't want to say conservatively because I would not describe this as
conservatively in context. I guess.
And conservatively in context. That's a better way of putting it. But they really know all the different techniques, and it's no wonder that he went on to, become a really world famous film director.
Yeah, exactly. What's he been doing recently?
He did he's been doing documentaries recently.
Yeah.
He did the They Shall Not Grow Old, the World War I documentary, and then he did The Beatles Get Back.
Right, the one on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that was really, really good.
Yeah, it was good. I thought They Shall Not Grow Old is probably even better. Like, that's one of my favorite documentaries. But like, that's another thing too. Like, he didn't really do documentaries until those movies.
He just sort of he's
nomadic.
nomadic.
Yeah, exactly. He's still coming up with new things to do, like within, and as much as I could say like, oh, I'd love to see him do another a horror movie like this, I could also say I would love to see him do another fantasy. I would say I'd love to see him to do another drama like Heavenly Creatures or like something like that. Like, but he keeps finding new ways to do things for his filmography, and
it's this level of creativity that you don't often see these days. And I'm sure, like, of course, there's still people that are still coming up with new shit, but like, I don't think anyone's quite doing it like him.
Yeah, I would say in terms of like mainstream directors that are like well-known, big name ones, Peter Jackson is probably my favorite who's still alive today. Like, that I could think of. Like, I mean, I like him more than Spielberg or Cameron or like any of these other directors. I mean, not all of Peter Jackson's movies are good. I'll say that.
Nobody has
like Lovely Bones is not a good movie.
Everyone's got a death proof in them, Like,
Death Proof wasn't nearly as bad as like Lovely Bones.
I didn't see Lovely Bones, but I loved Quentin Tarantino back in the day. But I remember falling asleep watching Death Proof.
Yeah,
like it is nothing. I've fallen asleep only to be woken up by car crashes and then immediately go back to sleep.
Yeah, well, yeah. Watch the last 20 minutes of Death Proof, and if you like it, then go back and see if the rest of the movie was worth it.
Yeah. Watch the last 20 minutes of Death Proof. That's the best part.
Yeah.
I've never seen Planet Terror. I can't imagine it's much worse than that one.
I have seen it, and I remember enjoying it more than Death Proof. So
I know Quentin Tarantino's in that. He plays rapist, I believe he is.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and so, yeah, but yeah, even I'd probably say that I like Jackson more than Tarantino, honestly, because as much as I like Tarantino, he kind of like makes the same movie in different settings. Like, it's like, okay, sure, one's a World War II movie, one's a gangster movie, one's a Western and all that stuff, but it has the same kind of attitude, the same kind of like sense of humor and stylings and stuff like that. I find that Jackson has more variety in his like filmography. Like, this is a very different movie from Forgotten Silver, which is a very different movie from Heavenly Creatures, which is a very different movie from King Kong, which is a very different movie from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about like having a style, but it really feels like he's evolving as time goes along, rather than settling into anything, which I respect a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm sure, he still stands by these movies. I heard him. I do want to say that like I remember reading online that he prefers the 97-minute Dead Alive cut to Braindead.
Really?
But I don't believe that's true.
I don't believe that. I don't agree with it, and I don't believe it.
What I think people mean is that he prefers the 97-minute version to the R-rated version of Dead Alive. That would make sense to me, and then they misinterpret it as like, oh, he likes that more than the original kind of Braindead. Like, that's at least my interpretation of that. I don't think that.
I'd be willing to agree with that.
Yeah. But, I'm just going to go through my notes, but I'm not sure if I have much else to say.
Yeah.
You have any, like, final thoughts on...
just in general, it's, like, it's so funny, because this is, again, like, I think just in the spirit of Halloween, I just want to say that, like, was a genre that I could not get into when I was younger. I was, like, a very easily scared child. I think when we were still very young, we went and saw the Scooby-Doo movie together, and that was too much for me. I ran out of the theater. I remember the exact moment, too. It was when they were in the stupid haunted house on the island. I just could not handle it. I couldn't handle... I remember, on the topic of Peter Jackson, I remember going with my other friend James to Return of the King, and I couldn't even make it through the opening scene where they, like, kill each other over the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was too scary for me.
It is a pretty, like, intense scene to me.
It is pretty intense for a little kid, but, like, still. And like I always talk about the moment where me, you, and Brendan were watching Evil Dead 2, or no,
was
the
me,
first
you, and
Evil
Dylan.
Dead. Oh, me, you, and yeah, well, some of us.
Yeah.
We were all watching Evil Dead, and the door to the attic opens up, and I went and watched Beavis and Butthead 2 America in the other room. I just was
Door to the basement.
Yeah, exactly. So
You were
yeah,
too busy running away that you didn't notice it was a basement and not an attic.
whatever. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where like I really wanted to enjoy these movies, and I sort of sat through it. I remember the hard part. I remember like specific viewing experiences, like I remember watching Wreck with you and being like, I don't know if I could fucking do this.
Wreck is legitimately probably my favorite found footage movie.
Oh yeah,
to this
no
day.
bar none. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I have seen some other good ones like Noroi the Curse and Chronicle, but
right,
Wreck I think is still the best.
Noroi the Curse is on my list. That was
you should check it out. It's good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, but I'm just so glad if you are one of those people who is easily scared by horror films. Keep it up, honestly. And I think this is a great starting point because it introduces you to the worst of what you are scared of is the gore and the violence and the scares, but also it presents it in this sort of lighthearted manner where I feel like, you know, this is a splatter film for the whole family. You know what I mean? It has
like
heart.
I said, I've watched it on first dates with girls.
Exactly.
So, there's I would say that maybe don't start with this. It's a bit intense, but like I would start with Shaun of the Dead and then go to this one.
Okay, yeah. Let's start with Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead actually has some pretty good scares that could sort of ease you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, start with Shaun of the Dead, then go to this one. But this is I would definitely put this in like a beginner like horror. Like if the issue is that you are too afraid of being jump scared, there's like barely any jump scares in this movie.
Yeah.
It's all very much out in the open. The horror is of the situation, not of the loud noises.
Yeah.
So that is the main thing. So if you're listening, if you're a regular listener, where are you? And second of all, if you're a regular listener and this is one that you skipped out on because you can't watch horror movies, you're too scared, honestly give it a try. It's not going to spike your blood rate, your blood pressure or anything. You're just going to have a fucking great time.
Yeah. And I guess we already described what happens in the movie, but it's a totally different experience watching it, even if you've already listened to
We
this.
didn't even get into we mentioned it briefly, we didn't even get into the scene in the park. We
Yeah.
didn't even get into most of the scenes with the baby. There is still there is still so much for you to enjoy here. Even if you listen through all this and basically spoiled the whole movie for yourself, it's still something else to watch.
Yeah, it's still worth watching.
Yep.
And I mean, like, fuck, this is probably my 8th or 9th time watching it. What does that tell you?
Yeah,
you could describe
exactly.
it to me all day, and I'd still go back and watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you have anything else?
Not too much. I mean, like we were saying with the baby scene in the park, I mean, there's not really a whole lot I have to add to that. Like, it's just very funny, like, slapstick, where it's like, you know, that's the one part of the movie where it just doesn't even like seem real.
Yeah,
it just feels like a guy just like throwing around a doll, but it's still funny.
It's incredibly funny. You never break that immersion because you already realize you're in a ridiculous world.
Like when they're like pushing it and he's like imitating the person next to him doing it. That's like a Mr. Bean scene gone wrong.
It's like a dark Mr. Bean scene, and the one word punchline at the end where he's stuffed the baby into the bag, and he looks at the moms and goes, hyperactive.
It's so good. Yeah, a lot of the dialogue in this movie is really funny too, and like, I mean, we've said some of our favorite quotes, and there's like even more probably.
Oh yeah, like we haven't even scratched the surface of all the great shit in this movie.
Yeah, those were just some of them that I wrote down, and there's like even more. But yeah, this is one of my favorite movies, I would say. Just in general, it's something that I would, you know, it's very rewatchable for me. It's very entertaining. It's you know, I'm a big Tolkien guy, so I guess I wouldn't say that it's my favorite Peter Jackson movie, but outside of like the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, this would probably be my favorite. And you know, and that's me saying that, and I really like Meet the Feebles and Heavenly Creatures and some of the other stuff he's made, but that's just how great this is.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I believe that does it for the discussion on Braindead.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you get lots of worms.
From the candy?
I guess gummy worms.
I was going to say, is the candy worms, or is it they get worms from the candy?
I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Oh, fuck. Well, the spooks and scares are over. We've done the trick. It's time for the treat. What do you have for me for next month?
All right. Well, I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to do something that's opposite of Braindead, just something so nice and wholesome. And then I was like, okay, you know what? This is a movie that I haven't seen since I was about 3 years old, but it was one of my earliest memories of ever watching a movie.
Holy shit.
Ever was seeing this. So my recommendation for next time from 1997 is Pooh's Grand Adventure: The Search for Christopher Robin.
Fuck off! This is also one of my fucking first memories.
Yeah, so...
Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That fucking... Okay, yeah, we're gonna get into it. Because this was... Definitely, I have feelings about this movie.
All right.
let's do it. Yeah,
I just figured,
complete opposite.
Yeah,
I was
just like, okay, well, you did the goriest movie of all time, and then before that, probably the most sexual movie of all time, and so let's just do something like, oh, bother.
Oh, bother. Oh, yeah, okay, so, I'm excited. That's awesome.
All right. So, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Whatever you celebrate, Mischief Night.
Mischief Night, yeah. If you're listening to this at any other time but Halloween,
happy birthday, Day of the Dead, Kwanzaa.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy New Zealand Independence Day. I don't know.
Listen to this.
That was another thing that was cut out of this movie, is the beginning with the flag and like the...
Oh, yeah!
The Queen. They cut that out of Dead Alive.
Oh, what? I
don't even know why I was there in the first place.
Well, the first time I watched this movie, the first video I watched that had it, it didn't have that. And then I clicked it again. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well... That does it for this episode of the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. Stay safe out there. Don't eat any candy apples before you check them for razor blades. And be sure to be so fucking careful with your lawnmower. Whenever you're mowing the lawn. I remember when we were in school, they showed us like a video of... it was like a workplace safety video. I don't even know why they showed it to us. It was just a bunch of people getting hurt in horrible ways, and this girl was like mowing
to die.
Yeah, basically, like and she pushes a lawnmower down. She's pushing a lawnmower down the hill and slips, and her foot goes into it, and it cuts her toes off. And I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? So don't do that if you have a lawnmower.
Actually, I wonder how often that happens in Wellington. Look how fucking hilly it is. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
How do they mow the lawns on like that park and whatever? It's
yeah, for real. Like it must be a ride-on lawnmower. That's way too dangerous for a push lawnmower. Yeah. Invest in a ride-on lawnmower if you have hills.
Yes.
That's our Unrealistic Elephant Podcast piece of advice for October.
Yep.
And I'm sure we're gonna remember to do that again.
Next October?
In
November, we're going to have a different one.
In November, we're going to have another piece of advice for you. Be sure to heed it, or don't. I don't give a fucking shit. No. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, guys. This has been Ian and Nathan with the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. We will see you next month for Pooh's Grand Adventure, The Search for Christopher Robin. So we'll see you then.
Party's over.
Party's over. Adios.